Hi, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Hawnt. Now, as you may not have noticed, I am a middle-aged white guy, and as a middle-aged white guy, I have opinions, and I like to say those opinions on the internet. So, the opinion I'm going to give across tonight is about this dude. Oh, the other way. That way. There we go. Ncuti Gatwa has been announced as the 14th Doctor. This is great! So I've been really looking forward to finding out how the BBC would carry on, how they would continue the Doctor Who story with Chris Chibnall and Doctor Who herself, the Doctor herself, Jodie Whittaker, leaving after the current run. And I'm really pleased to see that it's this guy Ncuti. Unfortunately, I have never seen him in anything before. I am hearing that he's very good in a show called Sex Education. So I will check that out. I do promise I will check that out. But I am entirely trusting in RTD. I've got to not call him R2D2s. RTD, Ross T. Davis, in his return to Doctor Who and his casting choices for this new era, and I'm sold on him already. I mean, look at the outpouring of love that I'm seeing on Twitter here is awesome. I'm loving the artwork that's up already, and but I think I am worried that there will be people that take issue with Ncuti taking this role. They'll probably be the same people that had issue with Jodie Whittaker taking this role, as she is a lady, if you are not aware of this fact. As Ncuti is the first black guy to be the lead in Doctor Who. It's the first black guy to be the title Doctor. We've already had a black Doctor in Jo, the fugitive Doctor, and she is awesome. I would love to see some more of her. I would love to see like a TV movie with Jo as the fugitive Doctor, because she's just fantastic. Everything that a Doctor should be. And I really hope that Ncuti doesn't come in for the same amount of endless trolling and abuse that must have had an effect on Jodie after the 3 years that she's been doing the Doctor Who stuff. So where am I coming from? So I'm coming from this as a fan since 1988. I was 10 years old. It was the first episode of Remembrance of the Daleks was my first exposure to Doctor Who, and I've loved it ever since. Now, I am the sort of fan that was there through it dying out with Survival. I was there through all the is it, will it, won't it, come back stuff. I was there for Curse of Fatal Death at Comic Relief and the what was it called, Dimensions in Time, where Doctor Who crossed over with EastEnders, which was, it's best forgotten. Seriously, don't look that up on YouTube, it's not good. I was there through the wilderness years with the fan audios from companies like BBV, and the fan audios that fans were making themselves without any budget at all. I was there when Big Finish came and started putting out new Doctor Who stories with the original cast. I was there for the BBC book series, the EDAs, the 8th Doctor Adventures, and the PDAs, the previous Doctor Adventures, because the 8th Doctor for a long time, Paul McGann, was the current Doctor. For a previous employer, I even wrote unofficial Doctor Who ebooks. So I'm a massive fan of the show, and I guess that the combination of my own involvement with Doctor Who fandom is that I wound up writing official Doctor Who fiction. And that was a story called The Case of the Curious Fugitive for an issue of Doctor Who Adventures that's published by Panini Comics. And the story that I wrote was a Madame Vastra story, a Paternoster Gang story. It was approved by the BBC, that it was approved to fit in with Doctor Who as it was, and is and will be. And so I feel that while I don't really have any authority at all, I feel I know what I'm talking about to a certain extent with Doctor Who, because this has been such an integral part of my popular culture understanding and development. It's part of my pop culture DNA. I will always love Doctor Who, whatever form it takes. I will always be there for Doctor Who. So, as I say, I've not seen Ncuti in anything before. I'm hearing great things about sex education. Sorry, I want to get this video out quickly to you guys tonight, so I'm stumbling a bit because I want to get so much into this. But I'm hearing really good things about him in sex education. I was I'm always curious about the new Doctor's voices whenever the new Doctor is announced. So I checked out the interviews with him where it was announced that he's a 14th Doctor, and I think he's got a beautiful voice. Although my initial reaction when I saw Ncuti with the little moustache was that, oh, he looks like Andre 3000. I think it was the stash that did it. So I do love the blonde hair though, and I do hope that the blonde hair is a feature of the 14th Doctor. That would look so striking. So this is great news. And I know that there will be people out there that do not think it is great news because they think that Doctor Who should always be just about a middle-aged to elderly white guy shouting and running around in corridors. And it's not. It's not been like that for a long time. I am a big fan of the classic series. I'm a big fan of the legacy version of Doctor Who. But things have changed since then. Since it came back in 2005, it's transformed. It is absolutely transformed. The perception of this show. I mean, this show was dead in the water. It was a joke. It was openly laughed at, openly mocked in popular culture as being this silly old thing that had cardboard sets and no real worth. However, it had an incredible amount of worth. Look at classic stories. Look at things like the War Games. Look at things like Genesis of the Daleks. These things really have pop culture weight, and they have really influenced how things have gone ever since then. And since it came back with Rose in 2005 that introduced us to the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, and Rose played by Billie Piper, we've really been spoiled by what we've received. And it was really worth it for fans like me because we got this amazing payoff with these glorious actors: Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith. We got Peter Capaldi, we've got Jodie Whittaker, and now we've got Ncuti Gatwa. And it can only be a good thing. I trust in RTD's judgment with this. What I do want with this series is just for it to be good. That's all. I really like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. What I haven't enjoyed about her era has been stories like the Timeless Child story. That didn't grab me, and I think it took something away from Doctor Who to make the Doctor infinite. Oh, here's a good example. Female Doctor Who robs boys of role models, claims Tory MP. This is something I want to bring up. I've seen a few comments like this when Jodie Whittaker was announced as the Doctor, that a role model was taken away from young boys. Now, if you are of the opinion that role models have to be of a specific gender or a specific heritage, then you really don't understand Doctor Who or a lot of science fiction in general, which is forward-thinking, progressive, and accepting. The key with the role model here is that the Doctor does the right thing. The Doctor saves the day. The Doctor doesn't use guns. The Doctor tries not to use violence if at all possible. The Doctor tries to talk their way out of things and think their way out of situations rather than just barreling in with a load of weapons. And that's always been the heart of this show. This strange, silly little show that was shot on a tiny, tiny stage originally with like leftover props and sets and costumes. It went on to become a genuine icon, revered across the planet by millions of people, a multi-generational phenomenon. And things like that just don't come along very often. So, with all that said, I do have some fears for the coming series. So, I think, this is more opinion more than anything else, I would prefer it to have a smaller scale. For at least one series, I would like it to have a smaller scale. Get back a bit more back to basics, some Monster of the Week stuff, and maybe end with a two-parter. I know there's always been overarching themes in all the series since it came back with the first Russell T Davies show. But I would like some smaller stories to be going on. I didn't really get on with The Timeless Child, as I mentioned, and some smaller stuff I think would have a great effect on everything. Matt Smith's looking very dapper there. But look at this guy's smile. I think there's mischief in those eyes. There's mischief in that smile, which is everything you need to be the Doctor. There has to be an air of mischief, I think. And I think he's certainly got that. So I would like the theme tune to be improved. I don't really like Jodie's theme tune. So I am hoping that that does get replaced with something a bit more bombastic. I like David Tennant in Series 4, his theme was a bit more bombastic with the drums and the guitars and the orchestra and everything. Something like that would appeal to me personally. I would like the TARDIS to get a refit. I really don't like the current TARDIS console room. I really liked Peter Capaldi's console room, the circular one. I don't really like the overarching kind of claws that are coming over it at the moment. The format, I think something along the lines of like 10 episodes of 45 minutes each would be ideal. So it's longer than like a mini-series and it's shorter than the 13 episodes that we had originally, because that can stretch the budget. So I would say 10 episodes of 45 minutes each. That would make a nice length, give Ncuti some time to establish himself as the Doctor and what's going on in this new iteration of the series with RTD back at the helm. So this middle-aged white guy, my reaction to the news that Ncuti Gatwa is the 14th Doctor, I'm all for it. I want him to be amazing, and I really look forward to seeing what happens next.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.